I'm always interested by the meanings of words and where words come from. I was looking the other day at the word alcoholic, and it's somebody who hurts themselves or others as a consequence of alcohol. Alcohol leads to harm, and that is the definition of an alcoholic. So it's quite a broad definition. And I'd like you to bear that in mind for a moment. Yesterday, Boris defended. He apologised unreservedly, and then he defended. So the apology is worthless. And then he defended some of the meetings, sometimes called parties or gatherings or whatever we want to call them. He defended some of these meetings, and he said that some of the meetings were to say goodbye to honoured colleagues. You may think that is wrong, but I, said Boris, respectfully disagree. What a plonker, what an absolute and utter plonker. And I've held back from that pronouncement up till now. And I've been talking about Partygate for months, it seems. And I've been very, very careful. I think Boris has a particular duty. And that duty is to get rid of the lightweights in his cabinet. People like Liz Truss, Priti Patel, Nadine Dorries, Michael Gove, Dominic Raab, Heapy, and I think actually even Ben Wallace. All of these have been their professional behaviour has been questioned again and again, most recently in the Foreign Office report. That's why Heapy and Ben Wallace are in my list. And honourable people would have offered their resignation, but we do not have honourable people in the cabinet, and without honourable people leading our country, how can we expect others to behave in an honourable fashion? We lead by example. And the example Boris has given is pathetic and really, really sad. I remember the last election. I was in a TV studio with Boris's sister and his father, and a number of other politicians, I think including Piers Corbyn. I'm ashamed that I was there, really, rubbing shoulders with these people. Because what is the point? If their only purpose is to hang on to power come what may, and Jeremy Corbyn managed that too, come what may, then actually their understanding of their purpose is misplaced. Boris has only one job now, and that is to ensure that somebody sound and better than he is will take over the reins of power when he goes. Now, I look around the cabinet table and I cannot see that person. What I see is dross and lightweights and people who have failed and who still think they stand a chance at the top job. And at the moment, they do. They do, because Boris is too insecure to get rid of these people and replace them with charismatic and skilled backbenchers who have a moral backbone, who, for example, might have put in letters to the 1922 committee calling for Boris's resignation. Those are the people who Boris should now be appointing, and who it would be very clever, incidentally, for him to appoint to the cabinet in place of Priti Patel. How can you have a cabinet minister who's got a bullying allegation hanging over her and pretty well proven? How is that even possible in today's world? I don't know. And how can we then turn round and say that bullying is unacceptable in our schools and universities and workplaces? No. It gets you into the Home Office. It gets you the top job. How can we have a Secretary of State for the arts, for digital media, culture and sport, who cannot be bothered to open the envelopes that are sent to her? I wrote to her yesterday, by the way, Nadine Dorries, because she'd gone on Sky news to whinge about the first reality TV show that she was in, Tower Block of London, and complain that she was mistreated. Of course she was mistreated, because that is the way these programs work. They are predicated on deceit, and the deceit continues and continues and continues because it is not checked. Because it's supposed to be self-controlled. It's not self-control, it's self-abuse. And the wider public maybe don't know that. But it's her job. It's her job to ensure that the arts is a safe environment. It's not her job to say, oh, I've been hurt as well. I am disappointed. I feel damaged. Of course she does. Of course she does, because she got involved in cheap television. And it's her job now to tell the world what her experience is, and also to use her ministry to change things for the better. We should leave our jobs in a better position than they were when we found them, if at all possible, however long we stay. We should leave hoping that people look back on our time as a positive experience. But if we can't do that, we should at least make sure that what comes after us is better than we were. I think Boris only has one option now, and that is to prepare for the future. He is a marked man. It's only a matter of time before he goes, and if he cannot see the sense in getting rid of the lightweights in his cabinet and bringing on others so they have the experience and the cabinet experience to be able to bid for the top job, then I'm afraid we could well find ourselves with a choice between two horrors. At that point, will we have an option for a general election? I very much doubt it. That is why, just to make it very, very clear, that is why I have been cautious about criticising Boris, but do not think for 1 minute that simply because I brushed past Boris in the past, I have some sort of demented loyalty to him. No, I don't. I think he is a plonker. I thought he's a plonker for a long time, but I think he's a plonker who is doing damage. And, I don't expect him. I don't expect him to pontificate, to say one thing in one place and say something completely different in another. It's simply unacceptable to be governed for any length of time by a twit, a plonker, an alcoholic of that level. Alcoholic, yes, I use the word advisedly, because somebody who puts alcohol before government is an alcoholic. Somebody who because of his love of alcohol does harm to himself and to others. I don't mind how much alcohol he drinks, but it's alcohol that lies at the heart of this problem in number 10. That means it is an alcoholic problem. Now, there have been alcoholics in number 10 before, believe me, I'm sure. I think Churchill probably was one. But one has to ask, how much harm have they done? And Boris has done maximum harm with, I suspect, very little alcohol. It is unacceptable. He must go. But before he goes, he needs to make sure that the future is better than the past. That means we have to wait. And that means he has to do the right thing. And the right thing is not dipping in the nation's pocket to give us all a windfall tax and to give us the bounty that has been taken from the oil companies. No. The positive thing that he can do is to make sure that the bright minds are advanced from the backbenchers, and with speed, and that the people who have for months, years, done so much damage to our country are put in their place, which isn't the House of Lords, it's the backbenchers. And ideally, they're not elected at the next election. Very simple. I hope I'm not being too harsh.